Okay, so what he just did, what's Nagir now going forward? Is to know this, namely, that the water is mashpia, yam, and dry land, earth, is mekabel. By Kriyas Yamsuf, we should read that last paragraph again. V'ata nachser. So v'ata nachser, after the parenthesis in Avoida about the two kinds of rotzoi, remember? We won't repeat this now. Two kinds of longing. So, but without repeating that, we're returning back to the subject to explain the hafach yom layabasha. The question, what was the question on these words? This is from Tilim. Hafach yom layabasha, he turned the sea into dry land. What's the question? Didn't really turn the sea into dry land, he split the sea. And that's described in Chumash. Chumash doesn't say hafach yom layabasha. Chumash says vayiboka mayim. So what's the meaning that it's transformed? So the answer is that the mashpia becomes, in a sense, like the makabel, not mashpia, in the face of the tremendous revelation of godliness that is higher even than the level of the mashpia and makabel. In the words of the Maimer, shayom shel b'chinas mashpia. So water, as we explained, is the source of life. It gives the mashpia. It's around all the yonim we explained. Nepach lias b'chinas makabel k'mayavosha. Here by Kriyas Yamsuf, it coagulates, and it becomes like dry land. By that we mean a receiver. Because of this awesome revelation, that a maidservant saw then what the greatest prophet didn't see, Yecheskel. What is the level of B'chinas Atik? We didn't explain this. We have to revisit this now. B'chinas Atik, what was revealed then, the level of Atik, and please tell me, this is not just, what does it mean? What's the reference here? According to Zoya, that the whole matter depends, was Hashem's response to the Eden's cry. This is all depends, or this is the revelation now of Atik. And what's the Nakud of Atik? Give me a word in English, as opposed to not Atik. What would you say?
Essential.
Huh?
Essential.
Essential. Okay, nice word. In contrast to. In contrast to.
It leads to an end.
Yeah. Well, the listener doesn't know what you mean exactly, but keep on talking. We'll get some more hasbara. Essential as opposed to another word, another vague word, but it would help us. Essence as opposed to what?
As opposed to external elements.
External.
Opposed to dependent on something else.
All true. True, but the listener doesn't know what you're saying. I'm trying to go back even and with just more elementary, with just basic words. Essence in contrast to, this was one word. One word here. Several words for it, but one word. And you say etzem right away, you're invoking, you're addressing it, but I'm talking about, you're already translating what it means. You're translating it. It means wanting something that is a means for an end. But what is that want? What is that want in contrast to the essence? It's a gilui, it's ispashtus. Essence in contrast to manifestation. Essence in contrast to revelation. Essence in contrast to projection. I am, I express, or expression. I express, I reveal. And as soon as we talk about the world of revelation, what does that mean? What's implicit in that? What's implicit in the notion of expression, revelation?
Otherness.
You're being revealed and engaging something other than self. If I want, what does want already mean?
Something outside.
You want something. If I understand, what does understand mean?
Something outside.
You're understanding something outside consciousness. You're entertained.
Is not that.
I am, as I am. any description after the word I am, I want, I feel, I understand, or it means some kind of relationship, engagement with something other than me. Now, one more nuance. Is it possible to want something, pursue it, and it is an expression of the I am, of h'tשכ, within the person, of the tiny within the person?
The muscle he gave in the past in this subject was the will to live, because that's your most essential.
Yeah, but yeah, true. That's the rawest expression of,
Yes.
of the will. I just want to, but can it be even for things? For things, literal things.
Onto the same category, outside of
It would fall into Rotze externally, but as we probe, we can find the Nekudas HaTainuk there. Where would that be?
in the details of it, not
In the non-functional details.
that's what the answer could be.
Because that's, yeah, so let's spell it out. So you're buying what? You're buying a car, and you're in the cars in the showroom. They're the same price and the same function, the same quality, everything's the same. They're different makes. Now, why are you buying this make and not that make? It's in the details and not in the function at all. That's a paradox. Because that just talks to me. So let's analyze that. The car itself is a means for an end. You're not a car. You buy a car because you need to travel, business, and whatever purposes. For what's the word? Not travel, for English word, to commute, to yeah. When you get down to the details that are not functioning, they're not rational. You can't debate why you like this style or that style. Al-tam berech ein disvaker goes the Hebrew expression. On taste and on smell, there's no debate. Why? Because it's not a rational thing. So why am I choosing this? Because that just talks to me.
Uprooting all of marketing strategy.
No, so marketing strategy
How to
is
speak to that.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to speak to. You want what's the psyche of the people. It's all relative to, because that's me. We live in a world that we're so impressioned and wanting to impress that what I am we're not in touch with, and what I am becomes what
he is.
What he thinks is that becomes fashionable. So you have to know that. That's the whole marketing kunst. It's to see, where the psyche is today. The fashion changes. Someone in my wife's family says the fashion books that list a book, let's say, that has all the years of the fashion, 1961 to all the way to 2024, and the styles, whatever it is. You're just going to take the book and then upside down, start all over again. Yeah. More or less, the fashions will repeat, more or less. But then they would never not going to that. Now it's already like it's not even fashion anymore. It's the talking about clothing. It's more about shock value and exploitation rather than fashion. Exploiting the body. Kalponim. So let's just get back to what we're saying. It's a very critical thing. I want you to help me further. So in Avodas Hashem, so tell me in Avodas Hashem, practically speaking, as it were, where this phenomenon that the essence is in the details is expressed. Give me a few examples. That's the simple one is in relationships. What do you mean? The essence is in the details.
In a muscle?
In a relationship, in a muscle, in a relationship, it's a fact. That's where the essential bond will be in the details, namely.
Muscle in the home, the non-functional aspects of the home.
That's your physical. I'm talking about in a relationship with your wife, with your children, with your friend. What that muscle of the home, the things that you're going to choose.
Sure.
Why this faucet, this color? Because that speaks to me. But in a relationship, The measure of the relationship is in the small interactions. The more casual, which means the less you've planned it and thought it, the more it's you. The more it's a birthday. And in contrast to a birthday, where you've carefully planned this, the party and the dinner, it's all contrived. And it's something you've got to do, kind of. It doesn't express, it's a gilui, an agenda, this or that. It's not expressive of you or that party that you made, which is necessary and beautiful and costs a lot of money. But none of that is expression of you, which means your relationship. When is just the way you talk casually, without plan, the way you hand, the way you look to it. Oh, this is whether if it really there's real love and respect, really bonded. It's in the non essential. It's not in order to get somewhere. Where it's just the interaction per se, and in the smallest things. It's not we're doing something. It's not a functional thing. We're just hanging out. We're in the same room. Dolig that. Now with Eibishter, Navedes Hashem. How's it translate also? One of the Chidushim of Chassidus, practically speaking, that makes everybody so nervous about Chabad. Chabad came along, everything. Nothing's good enough. They took away the ad. Yeah, you have to understand with this, for example, in the world. 2 weeks ago, Shabbos Mevorachim, right? Was it last week? Nussi's brother was here for Shabbos. So he was pointing at Hagba or whatever, and he was standing next to me. He said, I'm sorry, Bistin Gulis and Chabad, missing the whole Reichkeit of Shabbos Mevorachim. Chaim, there's a beautiful tefillah, if you remember, if you have another shul. Oh, I say, I don't even know. You're just etzem, but the Chaim shall, for the whole world, that's the whole Shabbos Mevorachim, is beautiful tefillah life of Chaim Shal Oisha, Chaim Shal Kovet, and the whole things over there. I mean, there's the good things. Chabad's not there. So likewise, Piyut Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, that the word Tzatz, the Chabad is out. So they cut out, and then they add the tefillin, the talis. There's a very humorous song, if you can find it on the internet, somewhere. Rabbi Twersky, the famous beloved Rabbi Twersky. I think he sang it at Lubavitch Sheva Brachos. Ich bin in Gulis in Chabad. It's very funny. And he goes to Pasha, Yom Tov, Minhagim. Chabad is but that's the point. These new things are added, these details. These details, and pratim, because don't like that. In the Hitler, you're Yaitse without it, you're Gan Eden without it. True. You're from a Yid, you're a Chassid without it too. It's Dafke in the pratim. That's where the essence resides, because that's me, that's God. You have to do it. No. You eat without it. No. So why is it there? It's a very deep subject. We're talking etzem, klal, and prat. The essence of things is the general idea, and is the details. And likewise in God's creation, the details of something that don't change. The spots on the leopard, the one more or less to make a difference at all to the leopard. So why is this? So the whole agenda, the need for leopards in the world, whatever the reason is for nature and its complexity. But these pratim, that's a likus, as they wish to. That expression of the I am of God is even in nature, the things in nature which wouldn't change anything. It's made it a thought to appreciate. Okay, Shoy, let's go back to the Maimon. So what's happening by Kriyas Yamsov? So the Mashpia is silent. The Mashpia becomes solid, solidified. Why? Because in the presence of Atik, so before we go further, it comes out like this. He used simple language of Chassidus. Yabosha is Keli, Yam is Oir Mashpia. But that's his pashtus Gilui. Gilui, very high Gilui, is represented by the world, by the ocean. It's called Chassidus Alma Discassia, the hidden worlds, high, hidden beyond us, but the world's revelations. And what's dry lands? Mamish the final makab. What's revealed by Kriyas Yamsuf? Atik, the Anoichi. It's like Havaya, like Anoichi. Mamish not using his word, but it's the same idea. The greatest revelation is now silent in the face of the essence, in the face of which revelation and recipient are all one.
But the Caleb aspect is still present. It's not that now Etzem comes and everything is just dismantled. It's almost like it goes more to the Keli level because the Mashpia becomes.
So the Giloi, the Oir, and the Keli recognize that ultimately they're both Keli, they're both recipients of Etzem. That's the meaning of a value olikim. Bligvul, Gvul, it's all him. In their own worlds, Bligvul is the Mashpia, and the Gvul is happy to receive in silence. The Keli receives, nothing to say. The Mashpia is the big Zoger. In the face of Etzem, silence. Because he brings the Moshel in the face of the big Chacham, the real Chacham, even the biggest Chacham is silent. And dare open his mouth. Rabbi, the Talmud is a big Rosh Hashiva. Pashas about the Fabrengen, the Rosh Hashiva, and there's Pashas the Talmud sit in the same silence. There's Giluyatik. Not that he has to, he wants to say he's holding himself back. He doesn't want to say anything. He's Makabel just like this Pashas the Talmud's Makabel. And that was by Kriyas Yamsuf because Achon left Matan Torah. Gentlemen, we're kind of clear on this. I need some feedback from our erstwhile viewers. Yeah? Okay. Tali, yeah? If you have a question, ask it. Something's not clear, ask.
I didn't want to interrupt earlier, but what part of the Maamar are we on? Or what page?
Just before Isvav. We didn't learn anything inside you, but what we said now you understood. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Generally, you got it. Okay.
By us, it's non-transactional.
Not sure what you mean.
Our relationship with God is non-transactional. It's not dependent on this or that or the other, so far as what I got out of it.
Okay. Good conclusion. Okay, so let's continue now. Shazehu, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines at the top of that paragraph. Shazehu Gilui Oid. What's revealed by Kriyas Yamsuf is a Gilui Oid. Shalamayla Midargas Mashpia Haidem Mashpia. Again, the Etzem. Mashpia is Havaya, the Mashpia is Yom, the Mashpia is Oir. The Makabel is simply the vessel, the humble recipient. Yabosha, dry land, Elikim, Teva. It's different words, different levels, different dimensions of the same general category. But the Kriyas Yamsuf, friends, everything comes down to this three in Yonim. Always coming one way, the Etzem, and then the Gilui and the Oir and Keli, or Bligvul and Gvul. Different guises and manifestations of it. Klal, Prat, Etzem, Klal, Prat. We spoke about this many times in our world. Etzem, it's an apple. Klal, what type of apple? And Pratim, all the details of it that are all incorporated in the Klal. But the Pratim Shebe Pratim, that's in Yinatz. Could have a spot less on the apple, and it wouldn't change anything. And then the other things. I gave a sheet once, I don't think you were here for it. It's based on one Fabrengen in the Mukadige Fabrengen in the late Mems or the early nuns, remember when it was. Mukadige Fabrengen, Etzem Klal Prat. He made a whole sheet of how it is in Oilamis, in the Likus, in Torah, in the Shamas. and the relationship between Etzem Klal Uprat, the paradox. Remember it? I'll give you the sheet. You'll have to figure it out yourself probably. If you have any question, you can ask me, but remind me. I have it somewhere. Okay, let's go further. If you understand that, it's a template which you can put everything in, almost everything, to some degree, because everything has an essence, an overarching identity, and the details, a reflection of the divine. So therefore, they're not getting any the paragraph, because by Kriya Samsef was a gilui of Atik essence, relatively speaking, is a whole, really the understanding is in the relativity of each thing. It's easy to reduce things to these three components and boom. But Kriya Samsef is not Matan Torah. It sounds like Matan Torah. Not. So, but not that the Maimon goes into it now, but that needs to be understood. What's exactly the difference between the Gili of Atik by Kriya Samsef as opposed to Anoichi by Matan Torah? And it's a difference.
What is the difference?
So this is that's when the thinking starts. That's when you have Horizon. That's when the relativity of Chassidus is it's all relative. Dark is all relative to each other in terms of the designation. It's all fluid and it's all interactive and all interwoven and all. So that creates the nuance and that's where the real Havana is, to be able to understand the nuance in the bigger picture, but the difference, and relative to this dark, it's that, relative to this, it's this. That's where the real understanding and thinking, deep thinking is required. Yeah, so weiter. So this is the gilui of Kriya Samsef is Atik Nasa Mashpia Betachlis Abitul. So what happens then? What happened then? And it's every day. Kriya Samsef is daily. Which is why we say Kriya Samsef. We quote it every day. So the Mashpia is Betachlis Abitul. So the water which is the Mashpia, as explained earlier, life. Life grows from water. Earth grows from the water. Then it becomes solidified. Can't be mashpia. Canal, like we said before in an illustration, that even a wise person who has what to say is a mashpia. In the presence of someone who's be'emes godel mimenu, not just one step out, but he's silent and he's makabel. The idea that while a person is absorbing, you can't express. This is an halacha in Hilchas Basa B'Cholov. So on. Yeah, while something is expressing, you can't absorb. What's absorbing? So while this chacham is hearing from the chacham, God is not shaykh to then while he's listening to you to be mashpia. So that's all to say the greatness of what happened when by Kriya Samsef. Let's go further, Isabel. Yeah? You have a general idea, everybody, yes? DP. David, you there?
Sorry, Rabbi. It takes me a minute to get to the mute. Yes, I'm here. I'm trying to understand, but I haven't been on this year for 2 weeks, so I'm trying to catch up.
So don't try and catch up from what's said before. You've been looking at the Maimon before?
No, I'm listening.
Yeah, if you just listen, you'll
yeah,
get
I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm getting what you're saying.
You're getting the general idea, so if not every detail, but the general idea you're getting. Yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
Shkoyach. Weiter.
Okay, weiter. Now we'll understand another thing that not so much a question, because this is the way Chassidus teaches the pasuk. Namely, the pasuk says, "Vayi ha'onan v'achayshech," and there was the cloud. This was the cloud that separated the Eden from the Mitzrayim, and darkness. Vayores haloyla. Now, what illuminated the light? The night. That's the Rashi Pasha, the pshat is the night cloud that was fiery, the pillar of fire, rather. The Amuda Eish. It doesn't say that really. It doesn't mention the Amuda Eish. The implication is that the Tzeischo illuminated the night. That's like some more literal rendering of the pasuk. There was the cloud, and the darkness, and it. What's the it? The subject we just said before. The darkness illuminated the night. What does this mean? The darkness illuminates the light? It's completely puzzling. Now we're going to have the answer. The Pirish Vayor, who's doing the illuminating here? The darkness. The darkness illuminates the night. Scared? You ever heard of such a thing? Never. So what's the pshat? The matter is as follows. At the beginning of creation, it says, and God separated between light and dark. What's the obvious question on that? Just pshat level. Forget this, just push it.
The darkness is an absence of light.
Darkness is absence of light, exactly. What is it? Separating the darkness as if it's some kind of entity. As in the famous saying, you don't drive out darkness with a broom. What do? You turn the light on. Darkness is the absence of light. Yet here, the pasuk is indicating clearly that it's some kind of entity and God separates. As the Maimon will go on to say, so this is a different kind of darkness. Not the darkness that we know, that's the absence of light, but something else. What? We're going to see. Turn the page. Shata aksuvim. This is the inference of the simple meaning of the psukim. Before God separated the light and the darkness. And Rashi brings it as a statement of fact. Astonishing statement. Very interesting expression. The light and the darkness served mixed. So first of all, mixed again. It's not an entity, mixed dark and light. How do we even imagine what that means? You can't even picture it. And also interesting, mishtamshim, serve. It's also not a diuk so much the maimon now, but it's telling. So, what's the pshat? Even though light's been created, which you would think, therefore, there's no darkness as a matter of course. Not true, not so. The light is not something separate, which would then like banish the darkness. It's incorporated with the chayshech. Is united. And then God separates. And only then light becomes the luminary that it needs to be after being separated from the darkness. It's all very mysterious. So, Be'ez Hashem, I guess tomorrow we'll start V'Sherishin Zelamayla, and he's going to explain that darkness above does not mean absence of light. It's actually a very deep level of the divine that's higher than light. Yoshes Chayshech Sisres, we'll see tomorrow, as we've encountered. It's higher than revelation. It's an allusion to essence. Clear? Let's already get the general idea.
There's also the Indian absolute past that R itself could be Chayshech in a way. Like R used in a certain way could also not in Indian, but could be metaphorical darkness.
How?
He's saying something's over intellectually for someone. That R is Chayshech for the like we had.
It can cause darkness, blinded by
blind.
the light. Too much can cause darkness. Not exactly the same meaning, but yet true. Okay, so it's we